the squad and the club compared to this time last year?
That's a good question to start off with. Oh, look, I think we've come a long way. Last year there was a real focus on the athlete, being fitter, faster and stronger, and we took some big steps in that space last year, and a lot of the players that were here last year have come back in really good shape, so we can start at another level. We don't have to go backwards, so some big improvements. And as I said, the starting point is a lot further up the scale.
Are you flogging them?
We haven't at the moment. We've done some little things that probably today they went up the mountain, up Mount Kira, which is pretty tough, but it's probably more of a mental challenge. It's only about a 28-minute, 30-minute run, but there's no flat parts of it, so more of a mental challenge there to get it done. A lot of the younger boys did it a couple of weeks ago, and some of them beat their times by about 5 or 6 minutes, so some real improvement, but once again it's probably more of a mental challenge for me.
Can we get the Ben and Hunt stuff out of the way early? Were you disappointed with how that all finished?
Oh yeah, without a doubt, but it's finished now. We needed to bring it head to a head, and Ben will move on and we'll move on.
Was there a point for you where he's been agitating for a release for quite a while? What was the tipping point that you kind of realised, now we have to let him go?
Look, I worked closely with Ben last year, and I had many meetings with him and understand where he was at, and it probably just it wasn't a happy marriage in the end, and we just needed to move on. And as I said, I wish Ben all the best. We never had an argument the whole period of time he was here. We got on well. As I said, some marriages work, some don't, and we've just moved on, and Ben will as well.
Did you end up talking at the end, or was it all just did you let the higher up sort of handle that between you and Ben? Was there a discussion before you left?
I spoke to Ben the day before he went into Australian camp, and just told him my thoughts on it, that he was our halfback, and wanted to move forward, but obviously he's had some things go through his head for a long period of time, not just the last 12 months, and as I said, it's just in the end it's the best thing for both of us.
Right, now that's your captain gone. Any idea who's going to step into that role?
Yeah, we've got a few. Obviously 2 new recruits there, and Gutho and Damien Cook are both real leaders, so we'll just sort of let that unfold. There's no use lumping someone with the captaincy too early, but they're both leaders and they'll do a good job, and we'll make a decision probably in a month or so.
What about your halves? What are the options there now, or are we still in the market?
Yeah, we'll still go to market. I've had a lot of meetings. I just sort of not in a rush. 10 years ago I would have been in a rush, but I just realised that there's a lot of players on the market, and I'll still be on the market in a week or 2 weeks, and we'll make sure that it's the right fit for us. So we'll do some interviews, we'll do some testing and so on, and we'll make sure we get the right person.
At what stage is Kyle wearing the number 7 in round 1?
I couldn't tell you that, to be honest, no. We might have someone else here.
So what are you looking for? What are you on the hunt for to complete the roster?
Yeah, we've got 2 spots left, obviously a 6/7, and then we'll hopefully add maybe a front row middle. But once again, we might leave that last spot open to next January, February, even going into the season. It's one of those things, injury. We saw last year, Corey Allen did his ACL, in early season, and we need to get someone else in, so it's good to have that spot. So we'll just manage that as it goes along.
Josh Addo-Carr, were you ever interested in him?
Oh, of course, yeah, he's a good player, but it's, when obviously Clint Gutherson coming on board, they sort of put us out of that position. We always go and have a look at good players, and Josh definitely falls into that basket, but there was never an offer. We never made any offers. We never got to that point, and he's found a home now, and I wish him well.
On the middle, how hopeful are you that Terrell may come down here?
Oh, look, it's very similar to Josh. We talk to a lot of players, like buying a house. You go and have a look at a lot of houses. You don't put bids in for all of them. You wait till you find the right one, and we'll be very similar with Tyrell. We're had talks, but whether it gets to a point that we're putting offers in and so on, we'll see.
Just on Gutho, obviously great leadership qualities, but where do you see him being your best fit? Because he's quite a versatile player.
Sorry, who was?
Gutho.
No, he'll be our fullback. Unless something drastically happens, in the pre-season. He's got some versatility, but I see him as our fullback. That's what I brought him here for. His leadership, his intensity of training. You know, we did a run today. Guess we come first.
So what does that mean for, I guess, Tyrell Sloan?
I think it's, you know, for me, you know, I've spoken to Tyrell. You know, Gutho's going to help him develop. You know, when I had the discussions with Tyrell, that I could feel a little bit of excitement about in his voice when we told him he was coming as well, so which was surprising. But he hasn't had that mentor in our back line that can teach him, and you know, obviously he's got coaches here that we try and coach him, but sometimes it's great to hear it from another player. And you know, Tyrell's going to play fullback, he's going to play wing, he could maybe even play centre for us. He's a quality player, so, and only young, and so he'll develop, and hopefully with Gutho he'll develop a little bit quicker.
Have you spoken to Val Holmes? How's his recovery track?
Yeah, Val's back. Val's back in Sydney. He's moved into his house yesterday or the day before in Cronulla, and he'll be back. He starts next Friday, so he's back running, and we expect him nearly to do full training within a week or two.
On Gutho, I know it's only day one, but what's the reaction of the group to having Gutho here and his leadership and his history in the game?
Yeah, it was interesting when, you know, you see him walk through the gate and just watching. All the boys are pretty excited to have him on board. And as I said, we did an exercise this morning, and as I said, Gutho gets out there and wins it. And every player knows, you know, that's why we got him here for, you know, to set examples, set standards, not only his ability on the field, it's what he does here Monday to Friday. And that's a big selling point for me, is that, you know, I know, we all know, all you people know what he does on the weekend, but I know what I needed from Monday to Friday, and I needed Clint Gutherson, and I needed Damien Cook for Monday to Friday business.
What does it mean to the club that he's prepared to move his family? He's from Manly originally, right? Like, to move all this way down here. I think that's important for Gutho.
Yeah, it's quality of the person as well that he, straight away, I'm moving. He jumped on the, I think, you know, he signed his contract around lunchtime one day, and he was on the internet finding a place for his family to come down an Airbnb straight away. And he got it that night. He's down here already, away from his family. He'll do that for a while till they find a place to permanently stay, but they're going to move and live down here. So it's a sign of the player and how much he's going to be invested in our club.
Signed him on a 3-year deal. You know, Parramatta let him go, happy to let him go. They weren't going to offer him an extension. What makes you confident he will see out that 3-year deal and he's got the legs left in him?
Well, you want to come up the Kira Mountain and see what sort of legs he's got. I'll show you. As I said, he blew everyone away this morning. You know, the back end of last year, Clint was his own worst enemy. He was playing with the torn quad and some rib cartilage damage, and he battled away. And that's the sort of person he is. He didn't want to let his team down. You know, they had Mitchell Moses was out. Junior Paulo was out. All the leaders of that Parramatta squad were out injured, and Gutho didn't want to be another one of that, and he thought that he could battle through. And you know, it was probably to his own detriment that people were saying, look, he's old and he's tired. No, he was standing up for his club and fighting really hard. And I know the Parramatta people appreciate that, and we're just lucky to have him. He'll be fine. He's 30 years old. I've dealt with a lot of athletes. You know, at the back end of their careers, you know, the Paul Gallons, Luke Lewis's, Michael Innes's and so on, and all those staff that I had there are here now at the Dragons. So they'll manage him, and we'll get the best out of him.
How satisfying, or how good was that for you to see Gutho immediately setting the example today?
Yeah, it was outstanding. He, just as he started to take off, he said something to me on the way, I'll show these boys how to get up the hill, and I didn't take too much notice of it, and then he just went straight to the front, like Pride of Jenny maybe, and just led from start to finish.
Well, just with Cookie and Little, how do you see that work, the two together?
Yeah, exciting as well. You know, Damien can play a little bit in the middle and do that ball distributing role. The ability of Jacob to come on and change the pace of the game. We'll work in the off-season about those two working together. They're not going to be, you know, fighting against each other for the position. They'll be, you know, with form. I'd like to think both of them are in the team. You know, Jacob's in the team with Damien, so it's a good thing for me to have. Last year we burnt Jacob Little out. He was playing 80 minutes most weeks. He was making 50 tackles, and you know, his strength is his running game. And because we burned him out, you know, we took away from that. He was just too fatigued. So we'll see even better Jacob Little this year out of dummy half his speed.
Nathan Lawson.
Yep.
Signed him?
He's over a season at the moment. He's got his last commitments with Rugby Australia in the sevens. He's got one more tournament to go, and I'd like to think when he comes back, that touch wood, no injuries, that he'll be here.
What do you like about him?
Big, fast, athletic. If you go on Nathan Lawson YouTube, you'll see some of the tries he scores, some of the tackles he's made. He comes from, he obviously lives in Cronulla. I've known him a bit. He's a footy player, and he'll adapt to rugby league pretty quickly. Loves rugby league. He's watched it. He went to school with Cam Murray. Was in a pretty good system there. And as I said, the transition is not going to be that hard for him. As I said, he'll play in the outside backs, and looking forward to see him transition into an NRL player.
I know you certainly don't want to harp on it, but have you been disheartened by your two biggest names that have left in Zach and Ben? Haven't had a good word to say about the club. Has that been disheartening, having worked with them for the last 12 months?
Oh yeah, without a doubt. But you know, we made a decision early on with Zach that we wanted to move on, and he wanted to move on, and you know, he had a great season. Played Origin and played for Australia, and you know, represented this club really well during his time. We all know the situation with Ben, their feelings and so on. Well, I can't change them. I'm not going to worry about it. I just got to make sure, you know, we look forward and the club does well next year. And these things happen in footy. Players move clubs.